welcome back to the Tina podcast. And I'm here with a very special guest this evening, Charley Marvin. Charley, welcome. Welcome back. It's been a while. How's it?
I know, thank
It's
you.
been forever.
It has. I mean, when was the last time
I think it was like last year.
Really? Has it been?
I think it was, yeah.
Wow.
Wow, I'm so excited.
Thank
You are my very special guest.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. I'm just so excited to hear about this project you've been working on. Charley has a new EP out on all platforms called Planetoid, so make sure you check it out. And yeah, so what's been new? What's been going on?
Yeah, so, I've been working months on this new project. When we got out for school and right after, I got out of school, I was like, okay, now it's time to focus. Now it's like time to go back to music. And I had like disappeared like off social media for a while because I was like busy working on this project. And yeah, I spent like a couple months working on it, like planning everything, making sure everything was in order.
It is definitely a new era.
It is.
You look
yeah.
amazing.
Oh, thank you.
So tell us about what inspired the era. What came to your mind when you were making this project?
Okay, so after Myths, after that, whole project was done and out, I was like, well, now I want to do more. Like, I want to dig deeper into the pop genre, and I want to do dance music. So if you didn't know, and for anyone watching, I started off being and you know this, I started off being a dancer on social media. That's how I like really got into music. And so, I was like, well, now I want to start making dance music. And so I was like, well, I know for sure that the next project I drop has to be dance oriented music. But I was like, it can't be like any type of dance music. And so I had like went back to like what I grew up with, and what I grew up with was a lot of like the 70s disco inspired 80s, pop dancing that my parents used to play. And so that kind of inspired this whole project along with,
That's awesome.
everything. Yeah.
And what 1970s artists, dancers, people that inspired you when you were making this project?
So definitely the Bee Gees.
Oh,
The Bee Gees, yeah, they were like my inspiration. They were like, I mean, I had grown up with the Bee Gees, of course, especially with the Saturday Night Fever album that like dropped in the 70s.
Oh, it's so good.
And it was just like the dance floor. The dance floor scene was like the big inspiration. But definitely the Bee Gees. The Bee Gees were definitely a huge inspiration for this project. Earth, Wind, and Fire, another good, very, very great band, legendary band. So definitely those two were like the big artists that kind of inspired. Also like minimum like kind of inspired was also Daft Punk. Yeah, Daft Punk definitely with their like groovy bass and stuff. Yeah, and Rhythm of My Heart actually is also Daft Punk inspired.
Rhythm of My Heart is probably my favorite song on the EP. It is.
Yeah, a lot of people like it.
It's so good. It's so catchy. It's something. It makes you want to get up and dance. It's just, it's everything.
Yeah.
So, tell me about what was the hardest thing when you were making this project? What obstacles did you overcome, and what did you learn about yourself when making this project?
Wow. Well, okay. So I'd definitely say the hardest part about making this project was finding a producer. Previously with the last EP, I had produced all the songs by myself except for like the lead single, which was Lost Somebody. And but for this project, I was like, well, I want people to focus on the production now instead of like the lyrics. And so it was kind of hard looking for a producer to really see my vision. And I remember, I was like, well, how am I going to do this? Because I don't really know a lot of people in the area. And so I was like, okay, well, I had Facebook. And I remember, and I'm on like these Facebook forums where it's like a bunch of musicians who connect to each other. And so I just like posted, does anyone know any pop producers who produce like dance type oriented music? and I had gotten a bunch of all these messages, all these DMs of all these people, and the one who stood out to me was Joey Barnes, and there were just so many people talking about, oh, reach out to Joey Barnes, reach out to Joey Barnes, and so I ended up reaching out to him. Luckily, someone had posted his number on out to Facebook, so I reached out to him, and we ended up working together. We connected. He knew exactly what my vision was, and what I learned from that was working with new people, opening the doors with new people, definitely is inspirational. It allows you to just think new ideas. He gave me ideas that I didn't even know I had. So yeah, and he's very, very, very easy to work with.
That's great.
So
That's great.
thank you, Joey. Yeah,
And
he definitely produced a good portion of this project. 3 songs were produced from him, and he just did a great job. He knew what I wanted. I knew what he wanted, so yeah, it's our project. I like to say it's our project. Yeah.
That's wonderful. And you've been going to open mics,
Oh, yeah.
trying to get your music out there. I've seen a few shows. They're great. They were lots of fun. How do you feel when you are performing at the open mic? Do you ever feel nervous, or I mean, what goes through your mind when you're performing on stage at an open mic?
Well, so usually when I'm at an open mic, it is very daunting because you have eyeballs just staring at you from all places. But and I'm very most people think that I'm a very talkative person, but usually when I go to open mics, I'm very reserved, I'm very quiet, I'm pretty much shy. But it's like when I get on stage, I don't know what it is. It's just like this alter ego that just comes out of me, and I just grow this confidence, and I just start doing what I love doing, which is performing. And usually that goes through my head when I like get on stage. It's like, okay, it's go time. It's time to like show these people what I got to prove. So yeah, it's like I don't know how to explain it. It's like when I'm sitting down watching other people perform, I'm just like quiet, nervous, like, oh, it's my turn, and also observing the person who's playing on stage, and then the minute I get on stage, it's like a whole 360. It's like, okay, now it's go time. Now it's time to show these people what I got. So,
What would you say is your favorite thing about this era and your least favorite thing about this era?
my favorite thing about this era, definitely trying new stuff. I'd say is the biggest favoritism of this era. One of the things I also tried was going live on TikTok, and I did that every night, every night, every night, every night, and eventually, I ended up garnering a new fan base, new people. I got new listeners, and I always remember this one fan. Her name is Trinity. She was just very consistent on my lives, and she ended up reaching out to me via DM, and it made me feel like there are people who actually listen. When they say like put out music, there's always that group of people who actually means something, or has music that means something to them. My least favorite part of this era, um, as of right now, I don't think I have a least favorite. Actually, what I will say though is that it was a little bit delayed. I will say that's my least. I wish it would have came out like in the beginning of summer instead of like towards the end of summer. I'd say that's like my most least thing about this project.
And last, but certainly not least, what can we expect in the next era? Can you give us any secrets, any sneak peeks, anything at all?
Yeah, so I actually have music already ready to go. But as of right now, I don't know the sound that it'll be for the next project. Definitely new music. But as of right now, I am focused on the Planetoid project. I think this is my most free project that I've had so far, and I feel happy. Yeah, it's a
That's
new
awesome.
chapter.
So far, it's my favorite project you've done. I
Oh,
think you
thank
did
you.
an amazing job,
Thank you.
and I really want to thank you for being on the show
Oh,
today.
thank you. Of course. Thank you for having me.
Guys, you are tuning into the Tina podcast with my special guest, Charley. Please listen to Planetoid. It's out on all platforms. Have a nice night.
Thank you.
And she just craves attention, and that attention